So here is a new car I just picked up. It's an F82 M4, and these are incredible value for money. We believe that the F-Series cars are having a little bit of a comeback now the G-Series hype is slowly dying down, and the prices of these have dropped drastically, which means more money for modifications. And this car is bone stock, so today we're going to be modifying it with some of the first mods which I want to do to this car, and we're going to get started with suspension and wheels. But first up, let me give you a quick tour around the car because I picked this up in a bone stock condition, but I've made a few little changes that haven't been shown on camera yet. So the car's got the Silverstone white interior with the genuine M Performance LED steering wheel. The only mods I've made from the outside so far are the OLED tail lights. My car was a pre-facelift, so it had terrible dated rear lights, and they've been swapped out for these, which made a huge difference. And then on the interior, my car had the iDrive 4 system. I've now updated that to the iDrive 6 system, which gives me Apple CarPlay as well. That was done by Define Coding. The car also has the GTS flashes on it for the gearbox, steering, diff, so the car's feeling a little bit nicer already. But now it's time to fit some actual parts to it, so let's go over there and I'll show you what parts we've got going on the car. So in terms of suspension, I've pushed the boat out a little bit. I've gone for the Evolve X Bilstein dampers, which have been developed by the guys over at Evolve. Essentially, this is the normal Bilstein damper, which has then been revalved to make it more progressive for road use and a little bit of track use, because although this is going to be my daily, I do want to send it round track a little bit, so these are going to be perfect for that. And the nice thing about these are they retain this little plug on here, which means they retain the factory damper setting, so you can swap it from comfort mode to sports and all stuff like that. And that ties in lovely with the suspension that I've gone for, which is the MSS height adjustable springs. We do loads with the MSS. The nice thing about that is fully adjustable, so I'm going to be changing wheels and stuff like that. So it means that with, it means that with these height adjusters, we can dial in to make sure the fitment's perfect. If the car's too low, we can raise it up. And they run a double spring setup. I'm not going to get into the techiness of this, but essentially it means that the ride quality is like OEM. Very smooth, very progressive, but then when you do lean on it on corners, it tightens up a lot more. Bottom one's the stiff one, top one's the soft one. Enough waffling now. Should we get started on the car, Kai?
Yes, we should.
Let's get started. So we are just finishing up the suspension on the rear, but I just wanted to talk about a few replaceable parts, because with these cars getting a little bit older, there's stuff that needs replacing. So here is the rear sort of top mount and strut cover. And as you can see, my ones at 58k miles are battered and split. So I'm replacing them. We hold these in stock literally for jobs like these, because if customers coming down to have their suspension fitted, we want to make sure it's leaving in a as new condition. Also, on the front, you have a thing called a pinch bolt. Is that going to focus? A lot of places don't actually change these out, and they can cause a clicking noise and all sorts of unwanted suspension noises, because essentially these bolts can stretch. So we're replacing them as well, and that basically ensures that once this is all done, the car should drive like new. And there's another thing. So the other little thing we're doing is we've got the car hooked up to a laptop at the moment with BMW ISTA software, because where these cars have electronic dampers, the car learns how the dampers and everything are working. So the higher the mileage of the car, the tighter they stiffen up. So essentially, when you're fitting new dampers, it's always good practice to completely reset that car as if it has a complete new suspension setup in it. That way, the car will think, this is a brand new set of dampers, we're not gonna crank the stiffness all the way up to the top. So that is currently being done as well, and that's another little added extra that quite a few people might not have known about, because I didn't. I've only just found that out thanks to our tech over there.
So I interrupt this broadcast with some very sad news. Unfortunately, this car is going to be making way for the new G90 that we've got coming in November, so we have sold it. And we've sold it to the guys at exclusive competitions, so they're going to be raffling off this car and you're going to have the opportunity to win it. This is a 600 brake horsepower, fully spec'd out G80 X-Drive. It genuinely has every single box ticked, absolutely everything. Carbon buckets, car lump. It's an amazing car. I have loved it and I'm going to be very, very sad to see it go. The details are yet to be finalised, but everything you need to know is going to be in the link in the description of this video, so give that a click and I wish you the best of luck.
The suspension is now fitted and it drives the nuts. You're probably thinking, Nath, why have you not put the wheels on? It is currently a day later. The wheels didn't turn up in time, but now it's time to get them fitted. And once they're on, we're gonna go for a drive and I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what this feels like, because even driving on these wheels with the suspension, it has been a game-changing, like literally it has been game-changing. So here are the new wheels, 2FORGE ZF8s finished in a custom finish. I really like the HRE FF21s that Jack had on his G87 M2. I'll throw it up now and show you. And they were finished in almost like a hyper silver. So I went with this finish and the guys at 2FORGE managed to pull it off for me. And they are wrapped in Yokohama A052 semi-slicks, which are ridiculously grippy. They're probably one of the most grippiest road tyres that you can actually get, and they look unreal. Let me show you a little bit closer on them. So I've gone with the 18s because it suits that track style look a little bit more, and it also makes the tyres a little bit more affordable. So the rear is an 11J, and it is running a 295 30/18 tyre, stupidly wide. You can get away with going a little bit wider, but I didn't want to have any problems. And then on the front, that's a 10J and that's a 265 35/18 tyre. And as I said, they're Yokohama A052s. So finally the time has come to remove these extremely curved wheels and get the new ones on. These are gonna look the tits. It's pretty close with the caliper against the barrel of the wheel. So if anyone wants these wheels and they're running a big brake kit, double check with us to make sure they will actually fit with your big brake kit. So the wheels have all been fitted now. Let's get the car dropped down because I genuinely cannot wait to see this. This is something I've wanted to do the most ever since getting the car, so let's go. Fat cartwheel, ready? 3, 2. Ooh. Oh, jeez. So the wheels have now been fitted along with the suspension, so it's almost time to take the car for a drive, but I am absolutely buzzing with how they're looking, to be honest. I usually go for a bigger wheel whenever I'm putting wheels on a car, but going for a smaller wheel with a thicker tyre, I think suits the car really well. I do believe it needs quite a few supporting mods as well, like a splitter and a low line kit and stuff like that. And I actually might raise the rear tyre size up a little bit just to try and close that arch gap. I don't want to drop the car any lower because where I'm going to be dailying this and putting splitters on it and stuff like that, I don't want it to be too low. And at the same time, I also fitted a set of magnet plates on the front as well, which I forgot to put on camera. These are literally just magnets on here, and the magnets go behind the bumper, and that way it means that the plate can be removed on and off for content, which is nice. Let me know what you guys think about the wheels in the comments because I'd be interested to hear it. So before we go for a drive, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we have got loads of stuff coming for this car as well as other shop car builds and other videos we've got going on, so you do not want to miss out on that content. And also make sure you check out the store www.autoid.co if you haven't already. Use code YouTube5 and you will get 5% off your order. We sell loads of styling products to make your vehicle look 10 out of 10. And if you're watching this video and you're sitting on your sofa at the moment and this is playing on your TV, I'm going to put this QR code up now. Make sure you scan it and go check the website out. It's all good me just showing you the parts going on, but you want to know what the car actually drives like and whether it's any good. So we're in the car to explain that. I want to go through one thing first. I used to have a G82 M4. Some of you guys might have seen it on the channel before. I fully sent that in mods, and when I first picked this car up, I was disappointed in the way this car drove. I thought the F82 drove pretty in a stock form compared to a stock G82. There's reasons for that. I felt like the handling of the G82 straight out the factory is very refined, the grip levels are absolutely insane, and it's more of a comfy car. I found the limit of this car on the road pretty quickly, whereas the G82 you would struggle to find the limit on the road. You kind of have to put it around a track or be pushing on serious sort of speeds to find limits of them on the roads. I want to compare it now I fitted the new suspension, because this has completely changed my opinion on the handling of this car, and I want to say that it's probably on par with the G82 now, I'm going to be honest. So first of all, we'll talk about the boring stuff. Is it comfy? Yes. When you put it up into sport, it gets tighter. The way that it goes over bumps is very different now. Or the way that it absorbs bumps is very different now. When you hit a bump in the road, rather than sort of jumping and unsettling the car, it's almost just like gliding over the bumps. Rather than giving it all that as you go and getting loads of bumps there and everything like that, it's gliding over the bumps. When it's in Sport, it is bumpier than the stock car's Sport, and when it's in Sport Plus, it is very tight. I wouldn't use the Sport Plus on the road, because at the moment I'm in Sport Plus now, and you can probably see it on the camera how bumpy it is. But when I knock that back into comfort, it becomes much more of a normal and comfy drive. That's why I really wanted these, because as I said, it's going to be a daily as well as a little bit of track use. Let me meet you again in a second when we get on some back roads and we can give it a little play on some corners. So as you guys would have seen earlier, I swapped the wheels and tyres out for some semi-slicks 18-inch, and I think they've given the car a lot more compliance. Right, this road is a bumpy back road, tight bumpy back road. We've got traction off, and the car, it is very slightly damp on the road at the moment, so we're not going to go too mad. This car's ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. The tyres have been warmed up. Let's give it a little first gear, see how she grips now, because before it wouldn't put any power down in first gear. Spinning a little bit. Oh, she's hooked. By the time I got into second gear, she was fully hooked up. So much steering feel now as well. And I think that is definitely something to do with these tyres. My chewing gums are getting absolutely battered all over the gaff, but I don't care, because I'm having an absolute great time at the moment. That's enough of that before we end up going into a field. But I can confirm this is absolutely brilliant, and it has completely transformed the car. If you're thinking about changing the suspension and you want that perfect balance of a normal road car in your F82, F80, whatever it is, as well as being able to push it hard on a back road or a track day, you will not be disappointed in this kit. It is genuinely amazing. And I'm going to be honest, these parts alone have made me single-handedly fall in love with this car. I cannot wait to get some more parts on it. I think next up I'm going to do exhaust and maybe a little bit more power. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.